Joining us now is Michael Savage, New York Times best-selling author and host of the Michael Savage podcast. Michael, what the heck does the left have against free speech?
Well, some mobs are more equal than others. BLM has free speech. They have the freedom to loot. They have the freedom to shoot people, burn police stations. And they were egged on by Nancy Pelosi. They were egged on by some of the very big mouths right now who are screaming that the truckers should be stopped by the federal government in Canada. But, you know, truckers here are exhibiting a true grassroots movement, aren't they? This is actually a true people's movement. This is the dream of the left. It's all power to the people. They're blue collar, right? They're exhibiting their interest in democracy. It's participatory democracy at its best. It's a true people's movement. Unfortunately, it doesn't kind of coordinate with the socialist left's view of what should be going on. Now, well, BLM was looting, murdering, breaking into stores. That was nothing, no problem. In fact, I think Kamala Harris contributed money to these mobs. That was mob rule. When 2 million illegal aliens were crossing our border, which is still going on, zero from these left-wing liars. So as I say, some mobs are more equal than others, but I'll tell you a personal story that I think is interesting. Way back in the 90s when I was on radio in San Francisco when I first began, there was a huge outcry about affirmative action being used in hiring. So a ballot initiative was passed called Proposition 209 to make race not a part of hiring in any job in California. And it passed by a huge majority, 70-30, Prop 209. One judge, Thelton Henderson, a former ACLU lawyer, I'll never forget it as long as I live, with one pen, erased the votes of 6 million Californians. I held a rally in the Federal Plaza in downtown San Francisco. I'll never forget this. Truckers came over the bridge from every bridge coming into San Francisco, and they wanted to block all the bridges going in and out of San Francisco. They were so outraged. Well, I was a talk show host. I couldn't encourage it because I would have been thrown off the air. So I discouraged the truckers from blocking the traffic coming in and out of the city. These truckers have far more power than people think. And by the way, they are the true blue-collar grassroots movement in America that just may save this nation.
Michael, it went from being, it's been the year of the parents last year. It seems like it's the year of the truckers this year. I really want to get your reaction to this GoFundMe. They froze millions of dollars in donations for these convoy truckers. We've seen a new fund open up, Give, Send, Go, which is a Christian crowdfunding site. And then we just found out a short time ago the Canadian government froze millions of dollars in donations there, too. I mean, what gives the government the right to dictate what these organizations can or cannot, in terms of what can be donated to these organizations and how this government can simply take away these funds?
Well, Trudeau is Castro of the North. You know, the rumors going around. He looks just like Fidel. I mean, the mother and father went to visit Fidel, and the next thing you know, little baby Trudeau came along. But
I don't want to hear it. As a Cuban, I don't want to hear it.
That. Let's put that aside. But he is acting like a little mini Fidel. He's freaking out because he's lost control of his socialist grasp on the nation. I love Canada. I have fond memories of Canada. My mother, rest her soul, was born in Canada. We have a family up there. We used to go to Montreal. I loved it. I always loved Canada. It was a beautiful country. What happened to this country? How did it move so far to the left? And how did this left-wing creep take control of it? And I know you have B-roll of a 78-year-old great-grandfather, 5'2", honking his horn, and the Ottawa police throw him to the ground and handcuff him. I couldn't. Look at this man. Can you believe this thug? Look at this. Look at this thug.
Sickening.
This is one of the ugliest scenes I've ever seen. How could this happen in a civilized society, that this cop would do this to this little old man whose crime was honking his horn in solidarity with the truckers? How far has Trudeau taken that nation? Down the rat hole of communism, because that's what this is. This is communism, pure and simple.
Michael, speaking of a leader that's taken a nation down a rat hole, President Biden, he's going to face some of these truckers in a matter of weeks here. What do you say to that group that's assembling, that's getting ready to head to our nation's capital?
Oh, no comment. I don't want to be thrown off Newsmax. But they are taking the power to the people. They're taking the power to the people.
You don't want to be thrown
Everyone's
out of America, okay?
Hey, I'm banned in Britain. Where would I go? I don't even have anywhere left to go.
You're always welcome here, Michael. We're not getting rid of you. You know that. Every Thursday.
This is my favorite night of the week. So some mobs I started with are more equal than others. And apparently this government likes the mobs coming in over the border. They like the fentanyl. They like the drugs. They like the crime. They like the rapes. They like the mayhem.
Right.
But they don't like truckers peacefully protesting. And what are they screaming about, the truckers? All the government has to say is, I'll tell you what, there will be no vaccine mandates. End of story. Thank you very much. We heard you. This is a democracy. We heard you. We love you. We need you. You win. What would be wrong with letting the truckers win?
That is very, very good.
Yeah,
Dr. Savage,
win.
you are.
We heard you.
You
are
win. Amazing. We hear you. We hear you, and we hear the truckers who are fighting for freedom. Thank you, Dr. Savage, for joining us as always.
All power to the people.
Yes. Amen.